The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day 322 of the Daily Deck Review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Freakshow playing cards. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we'll get. But before we start, we're going to crack these open because they're still in that cellophane. So, we're just going to grab that pull tab here, or some kind of little tab here on this side. Now that those are open, we can see that's in the standard glossy finish, a tuck box, and it is a white tuck box. On the front here, you kind of got like some kind of like little spade kind of shape, almost like a half a spade shape there, with some stars there and a little sun. And you got the red and black kind of lines. There in the background, it says Freak Show playing cards. One side says Welcome to the Freak Show. Other side also says Welcome to the Freak Show with that kind of red line. On the bottom, it says Concept by Eric Ross, designed by Nick Vlo, manufactured by the United States Play Company, Erlanger, Kentucky, made in the USA. On the back is a little sneak peek of that back design. On the top it says Playing Cards. That kind of red line goes all the way from one side of the tuck box down to the other. And then on that tuck flap, you just got a little kind of skull there. Got like a skull with a kind of little, some kind of little line going through it. And then on the inner tuck flaps, you kind of got that little red and white little square there. And then on the other side, you got a little ER or something there, or 3 and an R, something there. Oh no, it's an E and an R for Eric Ross. And if we take the cards out of the box, anyways, yeah, the cards out of the box. On the inside tuck box, as you can see, it's just plain white. Nothing too crazy or fancy going on inside there. Now that we took a look at the tuck box, time to take a look at the cards. Just let me move that card out of the way for a second. Now we'll take a look at that back design. As we can see, it's a mirrored back design with the standard white border going around. And here we have in the middle here, you kind of got a little black kind of star kind of shape with some red, white, and black kind of lines going around, kind of going off it. And you got this kind of red and black kind of little dotted line, little dotted border with the black border, and then the standard white border. And if you were to flip it over, same design in both directions. And now for the cards you get with the deck. Here we start with the first Joker. It says Joker, Joker there. And then you got that skull there with that kind of like pin thing going through it. Then you get a second identical Joker, so 2 identical Jokers. Then we get the custom Ace of Spades here. Then it's that kind of same kind of shape that we've seen on the front of the tuck box. That kind of red and gold kind of colored like spade, half spade there. With the Eric Ross kind of logo there in the middle, and then the little stars and the sun in there. It says Freak Show. Playing cards. And the rest of the cards are pretty standard, like these are standard spades. And then the Jack, Queen, and King of Spades are fully custom there, and they're all different kind of like Freak Show kind of characters there. Kind of. So you got this one little bald character with some kind of like, seems like has a tube up his nose or something. And then you kind of see like the red, white, and black kind of little lines that were on the back design. Kind of see them in the background, but a little bit more faded. Then you got another little character there, like a woman character with some like fire. And then you got this tattoo guy. There's kind of like that kind of thing going through his mouth. So oh, it's like the pins through like the mouth there. And then you got the diamonds here. Pretty standard looking diamonds there. And then the Jack, Queen, and King of Diamonds, fully custom once again. So you got this kind of like mime kind of character with a mousetrap on his tongue. Then you got this blue-haired woman there. And then you kind of got this fully kind of tattoo, kind of like almost kind of alligator kind of fully tattooed character there. And then the clubs, Jack, Queen, and King of clubs, you got this kind of character with half a body, or is just falling or something. Then you got this woman here with some more pins through her face. And you got this guy, it was like the thread coming out of his from his mouth and through his eye. And then the rest of the clubs are just fully standard, pretty much. Oh, they might be slightly custom, but still pretty standard looking. And lastly, the hearts, Jack, Queen, King of hearts, fully custom once again. You got a sword swallower, and you got like an electricity kind of character. And then you got this guy who's holding weights by his ears. And then the rest of the hearts are just standard. And the last two cards in the deck, you kind of got some gaff cards. So you got Ace of Hearts and Joker, kind of little gaff card there. And then on this card here, you got one side is the Queen of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, and the other side is the Joker, so the double backer. Now that we took a look at the cards, time to test the handling. And first we'll start with the springs. And I gotta say, these cards are definitely a crushed stock just from that first initial spring. Because these flex so much, like there's no stiffness to these at all, so anyone could easily spring these straight out of the box. And they're definitely slippery cards, as you can see, they just went flying. They're still pretty decent springs. They're definitely a little bit more of a softer style spring, just because they're thinner cards, and they're definitely really slippery, because they don't want to stain my fingers. But they're definitely not terrible springs, definitely not the best springs I've seen, but they're still not terrible. But they're definitely on the lower end of the springs. And now time for the fans. And as you can see, they spread pretty evenly. You can see most of the pips and numbers. No real stickiness or clippiness to those fans. Now time for the Pharaoh. As you can see, they Pharaoh super smoothly there. And walking away flawlessly. Now for the giant pin of that back design. Now time for that reverse Pharaoh. And the reverse Pharaoh's not as smooth because they kind of like got stuck and kind of gripped on each other, and I kind of had to push them together. And then walked away. Okay, not like perfectly. Now we're trying to paint of the faces. And now time for the Wiffle Shuffle or Bridge Shuffle. Well, we got some decent Wiffle Shuffles there. They work pretty nicely every time. Okay, pretty much every time. This time it didn't work. But most times they work. And the more Wiffles you do, the better they'll like, the smoother they'll get. And now time for a few packet cuts. Well, the pack cuts are pretty decent. Nothing too crazy going on. Pretty much average like most other decks. But they're not overly slippery, but they're not overly like packety at the same time. They're pretty even like medium. Now time for that one-handed cut or surely a cut. And now time for wait no. And now time for the dribble. Well, the cards are definitely slippery. But the dribbles are pretty nice. They're pretty like smooth. Nothing too crazy. And they definitely have more grip when you have like the back design up. You have a little bit more grip and control. And when they're face up, you can still dribble them, but you have a little less grip and they tend to slide in your hands. And now time for that spread fan. And lastly, spread the cards on the table. Well, guys, it's not a terrible deck of cards. We got that kind of simplistic back design there. Now, kind of reminds me of a circus tent, kind of, after looking at all the cards. That's kind of like what kind of theme, kind of vibe it kind of gives off, because it has that red, white, and black kind of stripes to it. It's not like the same color as a circus tent, but close with the stripes kind of there. There's so a pretty simplistic kind of backside, nothing too crazy going on. And you got the faces. What's that ace through 10? Ace through 10 is pretty standard there. Nothing too crazy going on. But you got the fully custom core cards with that kind of back design there. Like the back design kind of like faded there in the background. And you got the fully custom core cards with different kind of like circus kind of acts there or something. And you would see at kind of like circuses and other places there. Well, decent kind of core cards there. But nothing too crazy going on. Except for those core cards. And then for the handling, they handle pretty okay. They're not like the best handling I've ever had. They're definitely on the more slippery side of cards. Because they wanted to consistently slide out of my hands. But when I first opened them up and I sprung them for the first time, they definitely had a like the thinner crust stock to them. Because they definitely have a good flex to them. Looks like you got decent handling. They're still like smooth in most ways. Well, it's just they're not the best handling deck I've ever had. But they're not like terrible. So decent handling and decent design. Nothing too crazy on. But I still hope you enjoyed. And this has been a day 322 of a daily deck review. This has been the Freak Show playing cards from Eric Ross and Nick Vlo. And I'm the Canadian Card Collector signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.